Alright guys, we're back. This time we're highlighting the 5 worst trades in Atlanta Hawks history, right? So in previous episodes we did the Nets 5 worst trades, then we did the Knicks 5 worst trades. This time, from here on, we're pretty much just going to do alphabetical order, like the Hawks, after that I guess Celtics, etc. Running through all 30 teams, 5 worst trades in their franchise's history. Alright, so we're going to start off like this, because every single episode I got an honorable mention. The honorable mention, worst trades in Atlanta Hawks history, is the 2018 trade, the Luka Doncic and 1 first-round pick. No, Luka Doncic for Trae Young and a first-round pick.
Wait, Dallas got a first-round pick?
No, Dallas sent... Alright, so this is how it went down. Atlanta was picking number 3, Dallas was picking number 5. Atlanta took Luka Doncic for Dallas, and then Dallas took Trae Young for Atlanta.
So they traded him after.
And then they traded him after, but Dallas wanted Luka Doncic so much that they threw in a first-rounder along with Trae Young to get Luka Doncic.
This doesn't sound that bad now. I thought it was a straight up.
But this is why it's an honorable mention, because, like, you know, their careers could still play out.
Mm-hmm.
But couple notes I had right here. If you guys see, Luka's pretty much balling out this year, right? Like, second year in the league, and he's already an MVP discussion.
Yeah.
You run through his numbers, 28.7 points, 8.7 assists, 9.3 rebounds. Did you have Luka Doncic in fantasy?
Yeah.
So there you go, right? So I don't even got to tell you. 1.1 steals, 46% field goal percentage, 75% from the free throw line.
Yeah, he was carrying me for a while because there was like 4 or 5 games that he was having like a triple-double one game, no triple-double the next game. Yeah, he's been crazy. But Trae Young had like almost like a 20-assist game this year, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
But this is why it's an honorable mention. It's not like in the 5s. I think I said, did I say this in the other episode? Like, the thing that differentiates them. Some players, bro, they put up stats, but it doesn't translate to wins. And I feel like that's the case with Trae Young right now. Because Trae Young is balling. 29.6 points, 9.3 assists, 4.3 rebounds, 1.1 steals a game. That's Trae Young's stat line.
Damn.
So it's not like he's not balling. But difference is, Dallas is 40-27, and Atlanta is 20-47.
Yeah, almost the opposite record.
So like I said, Luka, he's an MVP discussion, second year in the league, bro. That should speak volumes.
Yeah,
Mavs are a playoff team.
Yeah.
And
For
then,
sure.
And then the stat line I gave you.
Yeah, and I think since Luka came from like
From Europe. Yeah.
And then Trae Young came, I think, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always like that little like X factor of like, oh, if he's from Europe, like we don't really know what he's gonna become.
Darko Milicic.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad history with like the top picks.
Andrea Bargnanis.
Yeah, the top European picks. Sometimes like they don't.
Andrew Bogut's.
Yeah, they don't come out strong, and then they just kind of get some weird injuries, and then they suck.
Yeah.
But Luka's different.
So
same thing with Dirk. Like Dirk started off, he wasn't that good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then he came up, and so I brought Dirk up because it's Dallas, you know.
Yeah. So Dallas also gave Atlanta a first-round pick for 2019. You know what that pick became?
No.
That dude Cam Reddish.
Oh, so they got Cam Reddish.
Yeah. So Cam Reddish's stat line on this year, rookie year, 10.5 points. I'm not gonna give it the whole thing, but it's 10.5 points on 38.4% field goal percentage.
It's not good.
It's not the best. But it's rookie season. He could improve. You never know.
He came from Duke.
I don't know what school he came from, man. You would know that. You're more into college than I am.
Yeah, so when he was there was like the Zion and R.J. Barrett, and then they would talk about Cam Reddish.
But didn't he have some hype? Like, because I think he slipped in the draft,
so
if I'm not mistaken.
the thing was, like, that team was stacked, like the Duke team.
Mm-hmm.
So then they just kind of like... It's the same thing with R.J. Barrett. Like, they thought R.J. Barrett was going to be amazing, but Zion was just like even more amazing.
Yeah.
So he was overshadowed.
So that was pretty much that trade. Like I said, it's an honorable mention because I mean Luka, Trae Young still in their second year, so you never know. If not saying I want this to happen, but let's say tomorrow Luka Doncic's career-ending injury, the Atlanta Hawks are looking like geniuses, right? You never know how their careers could play out. Every other trade that I selected kind of like, you know, history took its course already with those. We already know how those things turned out. This one, dudes are in their second year, but I'm just off the rip that people are saying Luka is like a LeBron type talent. So, do you really want to trade a LeBron type talent?
No, nobody would do that.
Yeah, but
once you know,
but Atlanta did that.
Yeah, once you know. But yeah.
And I remember, weren't people getting on the Hawks about this trade when they did it?
I think they were a little.
Weren't they kind of like, why didn't you just take Luka Doncic?
Yeah, because Trae Young, they were all saying like Trae Young wasn't gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
Like people didn't really believe in Trae Young.
Cause they say he's like Curry, and then they didn't believe in Curry either.
Exactly, dude. And then that's the same thing. Like the light guy, like he's not a heavyweight, you know. And then all he does is use assists and threes.
Yeah.
So they kind of just said, yeah, he's probably not gonna make it.
Yeah.
But Steph Curry proved it. That I like players like this, to be honest, because then it makes us seem like maybe it's possible for us.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I think, let me look it up. I think Trae Young's still like 6 feet tall. So yeah, he's 6'1". So it's not like 100% like, oh yeah, like a guy under 6 feet can make it. Like there's only a few guys like that.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Steph Curry. Like he's real skinny. Yeah. He's light, but he's still 6 feet.
Yeah.
So.
No, Curry's like 6'2" or something, 6'3".
But it's funny seeing it when one time he went for a dunk,
mm-hmm.
and he like caught the rim, and they were like, oh shit, yeah, he's not a giant. You know, like, but yeah, both those guys, man. I think they're both gonna be really good, Luka and Trae Young. But the thing is, with Luka, I think he has more of he can dominate a game consistently, like against anyone.
Yeah.
Trae Young, it's like he can do it against, like, not the elite teams. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
So I think it's a good trade. You know, they thought maybe they were gonna get a good pick. They did get Cam Reddish. Like you never know. Like he could have been a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
They were just playing the odds, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Atlanta. If you look at Atlanta, they got a nice team over there. Nice little young team with Trae Young, the Cam Reddish. Who's the other? Hunter.
Yeah. Hunter
John Collins. So that's 4 dudes right there.
John Collins, man, he killed me.
And then they got Clint Capella. But that's also why I kind of put this there, because I'm saying Trae Young has some talent on his team in Atlanta. It's not like it's just him. John Collins is putting up numbers too.
Yeah, the thing with Dallas is
20 and 47, bro.
You definitely say John Collins was suspended.
Wait, do you think it's a culture thing? Like Dallas just has a winning culture, so like it just breeds this?
No, I think it's I felt this in the fantasy season.
Mm-hmm.
John Collins was suspended.
Oh yeah, he did, right?
So this is 25 games.
Okay, yeah, all right, I forgot about that.
So when you get suspended for 25 games, one of your best players, it's not a surprise. It's not like saying like give him a pass, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not also like this is unforeseen, like, you know, like it could happen if one of your best players is suspended, you know?
Yeah. All right.
And I think Trae Young got hurt a little bit.
Yeah. All right. So that one, let's just move on from that one, because like I said, you know, history still has to take its course with that one. The dudes are like barely 20 years old.
Yeah.
But okay, so the next pick I have, some of these picks that I'm gonna mention, they're like literally they're domino effect trades. So they're gonna be lengthy, but just keep along with me, all right?
All right.
So 2001, Atlanta drafts Pau Gasol. Yeah, right?
What?
Yeah, Atlanta drafts Pau Gasol, right? They trade Pau Gasol, Brevin Knight, and Lorenzen Wright.
Brevin Knight and Lorenzen Wright?
Yeah, right, Ryan.
Damn.
They trade those dudes all to the Memphis Grizzlies for Sharif Abdurrahim and the draft rights to Jamal Tinsley. Which I don't even know what came about that, because Jamal Tinsley never played for them. I know he always played for Indiana. Whoa. So I don't know what they did with Jamal Tinsley, if they flipped that in a separate trade. But that was basically the trade. Now, why do I think the trade was bad? Okay, so off the rip, Pau Gasol was good. He won Rookie of the Year his first year. He was the 02 Rookie of the Year, right? We looked through his career. He went to Memphis. He led them to three consecutive playoff appearances. I think it was 04, 05, 06. They went 0-12. They got swept every time. But hey, look, they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right? We see what happened later on with Pau's career. He got traded to the Lakers. He was a second option on that Lakers team. But they came out with 2 rings.
Yeah, back to back, right?
Yeah. So he was the second option on a team that went back to back. 6-time All-Star. These are just some of his career accomplishments.
He was a beast, man.
Yeah. These are just some of Pau Gasol's career accomplishments.
So the Hawks could have had him.
The Hawks could have had him. They picked him, and then they traded him. So now we take it over to what Atlanta got. They got Sharif Abdul-Rahim, right? Sharif Abdul-Rahim played 2.5 seasons with Atlanta. He had his numbers were decent, but like I said, it's those kind of like empty stats where, okay, you put up the stats, but it doesn't translate to wins. There's just those players. There's some players that are just like that. Their whole career is like, all right, you put up stats, but it doesn't really lead to wins. A guy that was like that, he ended up flipping it, but it was Zach Randolph. Zach Randolph was like every game 20 and 10, but his team sucked. He went to Memphis, and finally he found the system, and it translated to wins. But for a while, it looked like Zebo was going to be that type of player.
He started at Sacramento?
Who, Zebo?
Yeah.
No, he started with Portland.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah. So with Sharif, it looked like he was... No, it didn't look like it. He ended up being that player. I think he only made the playoffs once in his career. That one Sacramento season where they played, I think, Seattle in the first round.
That's what I messed up. So Sharif was in Sacramento?
Yeah. Sharif ended up going to Sacramento.
Okay.
All right, so if you're keeping track, so Atlanta drafts Pau Gasol, and they basically, all the other names don't really matter too much, the Brevin Knights and all that. Basically just view it as they traded Pau Gasol, rookie, for Sharif, who was like a 5-year pro at that time. So you got a little older on that front, right? 2.5 years of Sharif, it doesn't work out. They're not making the playoffs with him. They flip him to Portland, right? And this was the Rasheed Wallace trade. But it wasn't just Sharif. They gave Sharif Abdul-Rahim and Theo Ratliff. They get Rasheed Wallace and Wesley Person. So you're keeping up, right?
Yeah.
You remember that? You remember the Rasheed?
Yeah.
Rasheed Wallace plays 1 game for Atlanta, and I remember that game was against the Nets.
Oh, damn. This is great.
1 game of Rasheed Wallace, and they trade Rasheed Wallace. And that's how Detroit gets Rasheed Wallace. It was like a 4-team trade. I'm not gonna say who went where, but basically we all know Detroit got Rasheed Wallace. What did Atlanta get? Zelko Rabracha.
Who the hell's that?
Bob Serra, Mr. Chasing the Triple-Double.
Hey, Bobby Serra.
Mr. Chasing the Triple-Double.
Yeah.
Chris Mills. And a first-round draft pick in 2004, which actually became Josh Smith.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But
Josh Smith didn't really do anything. He was one of those guys, too, that he was just like a highlight reel.
I basically just view it as like, just all this was a domino effect from you trading Pau Gasol. So, in a way, is it kind of like you just traded Pau Gasol for Josh Smith?
And yeah, after everything, yeah.
Right? That's basically what it looks like. I don't see any other picks involved in here. That literally it was just like Pau for Sharif for Rasheed for these players, and 1 pick that became Josh Smith.
Yeah, in the end, it doesn't seem worth it.
It doesn't seem worth it, right?
Once you know everything, you know, like Pau Gasol's a champion.
And Josh Smith had that one point in his career where he went to Detroit, and it just all went downhill.
Yeah.
A chucker from 3, I forgot what his percentages were, but they were like, when he went to Detroit, they were ripping him, bro.
Because he was lefty, right?
He was like 15% from 3 that season, but he just kept chugging him. He just kept chugging him.
Yeah, he was a dunking machine, though. That's the thing, man. Like,
he had a little run, but like we said, it pales in comparison to Pau Gasol's career.
Yeah.
And Atlanta, you had him, and you should have just kept him.
Because Pau was even hitting like those mid-range jumpers.
Yeah. He could pass for a big.
Yeah.
He defended the paint. He was a rebounder.
He was good, man.
Yeah, Pau was good, man. 6-time All-Star. And you ended up with Josh Smith after everything was said and done. So, this kind of, I'm going to try to segue it into the next pick, right? Was 2002. Offseason, I believe it was. Atlanta trades Tony Kukoc, this dude named Leon Smith, who knows who he is, and a 2003 first-round pick, which ended up becoming their pick. for Glenn Big Dog Robinson.
Glenn Big Dog Robinson?
Yeah. You remember Glenn Robinson? Big Three, Milwaukee Bucks, Sam Cassell, Ray Allen, Glenn Robinson?
Oh,
He used to wear the high socks.
Yeah.
His son is Glenn Robinson the third or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So let's run through it. Little history. 01-02 season, the Atlanta Hawks go 33-49. Right? Bad record. You don't make the playoffs. They had some talent on their team. They had Jason Terry. They had Sharif.
Yeah.
They had Sharif Abdurrahim. And they had Theo Radliff. Right? It looks okay, right? You got some talent on your team.
Not that much, though.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is why they felt the need to do this trade. So they trade for Glenn Robinson, right? Because from what I read, they wanted some more talent because they wanted to compete in the East. So they trade for Glenn Robinson, excuse me.
For what?
No, what I just told you, Tony Kukoc and the 2003 pick. They traded that to Milwaukee for Glenn Robinson.
All right. So Milwaukee now has a 2003 pick.
Mm-hmm. And Tony Kukoc, right? So Atlanta goes 35-47 the 02-03 season.
Another bad season.
With Glenn Robinson, yeah. Don't make the playoffs. Right? It doesn't stop there. They trade Glenn Robinson right after that season.
What's going on? Why?
I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying. Like this is the worst trade segment.
Who's the GM at this point?
I don't know. So look, I took this straight from Wikipedia because it was literally the only place I could find out what the trade was. So it says 1 week later, the Sixers were involved in a 4-team trade with the New York Knicks, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Sixers traded Keith Van Horn to the Knicks.
Oh, shit.
As well as Randy Holcomb and a 2007 first-round draft pick to the Hawks. The Hawks did not receive the draft pick because it was lottery protected, so they received cash instead. The Hawks traded Glenn Robinson and a 2006 second-round draft pick to the 76ers. So if I'm keeping up with this, it looks like basically the Hawks traded Glenn Robinson and a second-round pick, and they got Randy Holcomb and a 2007 first-round pick that they didn't even get. They got cash instead.
Dude, that sounds like one of the worst trades ever.
So Glenn Robinson and a second for Randy Holcomb, who's that? And money.
Cash.
And money.
Ooh, this sounds bad.
Mind you, you traded Tony Kukoc and your 2003 first-round pick for Glenn Robinson.
What did it end up being?
I'll tell you right now. So we know the 03 draft, right? It's one of the best drafts in history, right? LeBron James, Carmelo comes out. That pick that went to Milwaukee ended up becoming, I think it was like the 7th or 8th pick, it ended up becoming TJ Ford.
TJ Ford is a weird...
Wait. But this is not what Milwaukee got out of it. Like, this is like what Atlanta missed out on, right? So we know that this happened 2002 offseason. I know for a fact that the LeBron hype already started. This happened 1 year before 12 months before the 03 draft. I'm pretty sure by then you know who's looking to enter the 03 draft. Dwayne Wade, I'm pretty sure, was on people's radars already. Chris Bosh, LeBron, Melo. There's a chance all these dudes can enter the draft in a year from now. Why not just keep your pick, do a Cleveland Cavaliers, and just tank the season? Because there's reports that Cleveland purposely tanked in the 02-03 season because they wanted to get the number 1 pick for LeBron.
Yeah, back then, did they have the lottery?
Yeah. So if you're Atlanta and you're already not winning, because the season before, like I told you, the season before they made this trade for Glenn Robinson, 33-49. So you're already not a winning team. Why not just suck the 02-03 season as well, and then try to get like LeBron, Carmelo, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh? They basically traded out of the 03 draft to get Glenn Robinson, and then trade Glenn Robinson for cash and Randy Holcomb.
Damn, yeah, this sounds like a terrible trade. Like you know how now like all the teams are like, oh let's like sell off all our good players because we know like let's say, Kawhi Leonard was gonna be a free agent or something like last year.
Right.
So everyone was like in the Kawhi sweepstakes or
Right.
the KD sweepstakes,
Mhm.
all that stuff. These guys seem like they were doing the opposite.
Yeah. Terrible. Atlanta Hawks fans, I really do feel for you right now. So, let's move on to the next trade. 2004. This one also is a domino effect trade, if you will. But hold up. First, we got to pay these bills. All right, guys. So, we back. So, the next trade we had up, 2004. The Atlanta Hawks trade Jason Terry, Allen Anderson, and a draft pick in I don't know which draft it was, but they traded a draft pick. I don't know if it was first or second to Dallas for Antoine Walker. You remember this?
Yo,
You remember Antoine Walker?
that's how he came to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Shit.
So they got rid of Jet, Allen Henderson. Allen Anderson played for the Nets, and a draft pick. They get Twan, right? Twan plays 53 games for Atlanta, puts up 20.4 points.
Yeah.
9.4 rebounds. Good, right?
And then what do they do now?
Good, right? Terrible Hawks team. Terrible. I think that season was 04-05. I think Atlanta finished 17-65.
God damn.
Antoine Walker was in 53 of those games. 53 games in. Atlanta trades Antoine Walker back to Boston. What does Atlanta receive? Guess what Atlanta receives?
2005.
Yeah. I'll stop you right there. You could literally say 2 bags of dog poop, and it would be about the same thing.
What'd they get?
Gary Payton,
Oh.
Tom Gugliotta,
Oh.
and a first-round pick.
From the Celtics.
Yeah, guys. These first-round picks, sometimes it's really hard to see what they end up becoming. But, look. Immediately after the trade goes through, Atlanta buys out Gary Payton.
See, I feel like from like 2000 to like 2010,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little bit further than that.
Yeah.
There was all this stuff about you trade a guy, he gets waived, then the team that traded him away signs him again.
Yeah. One thing I remember was Cleveland traded Jonas Ilgauskas for Anton Jameson.
Yeah, that's the classic one.
Then Washington waived Ilgauskas, and then he went back to.
That's the classic one, dude. It's like, why did we even do the trade?
So yeah, so like
why
you
didn't
said,
you just give me Antoine Jameson?
So like you just
For
said,
free?
right? So Payton gets bought out,
Yeah,
and you nailed it.
I knew this was gonna happen.
Payton goes back to Boston.
Yeah,
So
because I don't remember Payton playing for the Hawks.
no.
So
I don't blame.
I was like, there's something fishy here.
Tom Gugliotta, the other
This
player.
is the classic 2000 to 2013. Just like, yeah, just trade us a player, and then you just open your cap room, and this team becomes a monster team.
And just get the player right back.
Oh my god.
So Tom Gugliotta plays 27 games for the Atlanta Hawks. I didn't even bother looking up his stats because this was like, I'm pretty sure he was out of the NBA the year after he was out. And that's basically what they got. So let's run through it. They traded Jason Terry. So if you kind of run through it, let's try to run through it. So Jason Terry, Allen Henderson, and a draft pick for Antoine Walker. Then Antoine Walker for Gary Payton, Tom Gugliotta, and a pick. So Payton doesn't play for them. Gugliotta 27 games. Let's just cancel them out. They don't have Antoine Walker either. So was it really Jason Terry and Allen Henderson for
A pick?
a first round pick?
Yeah. Yeah, when you break it down like that, you're like, what are these GMs doing? And they're still sucking all this time.
And they still suck. These are weird trades, right?
Yeah, like I said, every time like they did that, oh, let's trade you and then just get waived trade. I don't know how the NBA
worst.
just allowed that.
The worst, man.
Because you're letting a team, like, especially like the Cleveland Cavs, they didn't really have a big man, right?
What, when they did the Ilgauskas thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, Shaq.
They had an old Shaq.
Yeah.
So they were like, we just need somebody who already knows.
I mean, look, Zydrunas was washed too, bro. But it's just the fact that you're like, you literally just traded this guy for Antoine Jameson, and now you just got him back.
No, the thing is that you're getting something for him.
Yeah, and then you're just getting the guy back.
Yeah.
So almost like, did you just get Antoine Jameson then
for free?
For free.
Yeah, and the league allows that. The league says this is okay.
Yeah.
Like yeah. Just give that team a player for free.
Man, Atlanta Hawks, man, this is sad. Next up, 1994. I actually went a little back in history with the Atlanta Hawks. 1994, the Atlanta Hawks trade Dominique Wilkins and a 1994 first-round draft pick to the Los Angeles Clippers for Danny Manning.
Damn, who's Danny Manning?
I remember Danny Manning. Let's break this trade down. This is what I found out through the interwebs, because you gotta, I was born in 92. This is 94. Obviously, I wasn't an Atlanta Hawks fan when I was 2 years old. But what I found out on the internet, this season that this trade happened, when this trade happened, the Atlanta Hawks were number 1 in the East, 36-16 record.
Whoa.
Led by their leading scorer, Dominique Wilkins, 24.4 points per game.
This is with Michael Jordan around.
No, Jordan was out the league. 94.
But that was like in between the...
Yeah, this is the little gap when Jordan left. But really think about that. They basically, through 52 games, they are the 1 seed in the East.
And they trade their best
and
player.
just decide to just trade their leading scorer, best player, for Danny Manning.
I had the GM list up. That was 1994?
Yeah.
It was this dude named Pete Babcock.
Yeah, I remember reading his name, yeah,
Pete Babcock from 1990 to 2003.
So all these Babcock dudes suck because the Raptors Babcock, I don't know if it was the same dude, but he's the guy who drafted Rafael Araujo. These Babcock dudes just suck. I don't know if it's the same guy or...
Oh man,
these guys just...
Don't get a Babcock. Nobody.
Yo, these guys just suck.
Let's see if this guy's got any history. You said he's on the Raptors?
There was a Babcock on the Raptors.
No, so this Babcock had only been on the Nuggets and the Hawks.
Yeah.
So that's it. Like I don't see anything else with his history, but yeah, that guy, wild trade, man. You trade your best player. So this, I was kind of like from our Knicks history one, when I was saying like, oh man, that trade where they traded Carmelo to OKC was a bad trade.
Yeah.
Was because I'm not saying it's smart to trade your best player when he's in his prime, like that.
Yeah.
Like this guy was too hardcore. This guy was like, I need to get as much as I can for this guy. So when we're in first place, let me just give up and restart. Like this guy was too much.
When you think of the Atlanta Hawks, like you think of Dominique Wilkins, right?
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. Like
they traded for Danny Manning.
Same thing with Patrick Ewing, right? When they traded for Patrick Ewing, he had like one more year in him.
Yeah. When you think of the Knicks, you think of Patrick Ewing, right?
Yeah. Just let him retire on your squad.
He got traded for what you said, Luke Longley.
Yeah. And then some like picks that didn't really matter. And then the same thing with Carmelo. Trade him when he's a little bit better, so you get more back for him. You know, Don't trade him when he's in the middle of like all this drama and your team sucks.
You got to be able to see the future and know, okay, this is right when we should pull out.
You got to time it.
No, yeah, right.
Yeah, Babcock needs to learn when to pull out at the right time. So
you can't wait a year too late, or 2 years too late, or if you're the Knicks, 3-4 years too late.
This guy went too early, like way too early.
Yeah, this guy went too early, man.
Like,
best number 1 record in the East, bro.
What the?
So they get Danny Manning, right?
Yeah.
I had to look away from the camera, bro, just because this is so horrible, man. Danny Manning plays 26 games for the Atlanta Hawks, and at season's end, leaves them and signs with the Phoenix Suns.
This is a joke. These guys have like no loyalty, no like they don't keep anybody longer than like a few days.
Bro, you just traded Dominique Wilkins and a first round pick. Yo, and the first round pick.
In
the 94. So for the upcoming draft, pretty much, this happened in '94. They traded a '94 first rounder and Dominique Wilkins for 26 games with Danny Manning. Oh my lord, bro! This is horrible, man. Yo, Atlanta Hawks.
There's a reason why I was looking it up.
Bro, I didn't think anybody could really top like the Knicks and the Nets, but Atlanta Hawks are giving them a run for their money.
Yeah.
Yo. They really are, man.
Yeah,
and we haven't even gotten to because this is the next one I'm gonna say is the worst trade. We haven't even gotten to that one.
Dominique is the second worst.
It's the second worst.
Okay.
Did you have something you were gonna say right there?
Yeah, pretty much. I think they're the second longest drought for an NBA championship, besides the Sacramento Kings.
Okay.
Like I think the Hawks won the championship like recently when.
For a title.
Yeah, for a title.
Okay. They said playoff. I was gonna say.
No, like a title.
Yeah.
It's like the Kings and them that have like the longest drought.
Look, this is kind of all top, but isn't it kind of weird? Cause like there's some teams that have championships like way back when, but we know these teams as kind of being sorry now, and then you read up that like so. For example, Milwaukee, right?
Yeah, when they had Kareem.
My whole life, Milwaukee's just been trash, right?
Yeah, but they had Kareem.
But then you read back on their history and you're like, no, we have championships from the 70s. And you're like, really, Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Those teams like that? Just an interesting little thought. Let's move on to the worst trade in Atlanta Hawks history. I don't even know if they were in Atlanta because I think they were somewhere and then they moved to Atlanta. But this is Hawks history.
Yeah, I think they were in like Buffalo or something.
So for the Nets, we didn't discriminate. We did New Jersey and Brooklyn, right? Because all just Nets history.
Yeah, but it's just better just saying New Jersey.
So 1956.
Yeah.
You're saying like you know what the trade is?
No, I'm saying like they were there for like in the beginning they were moving around like they were different teams.
So I'll say, bro, 1956, the Atlanta Hawks trade.
Yeah.
Man, I can't even say it, bro.
They trade.
1956, the Atlanta Hawks trade Bill Russell.
God damn, they had Bill Russell to the Celtics?
To the Boston Celtics for Ed McCooley and Cliff Hagan.
Did those guys leave too?
Look.
Did those guys play for like 10 games?
I read up on these dudes.
Was that the beginning of the Celtics dynasty?
I'm not sure, but look. So I read up a little on these dudes.
My bad. Yeah, St. Louis.
Supposedly, Atlanta actually won a ring with these dudes on the team. The Ed McCooley,
so I
Cliff
think
Hagan.
it was like in 1955 or something. It was St. Louis.
Supposedly these dudes were actually okay.
Okay.
Right, but we know now because we're in 2020. Let me run through a little bit of Bill Russell's career accolades. 11-time champ. Oh wait, this is only 10 fingers.
I'll add a finger.
Yeah, 11-time champ.
11-time champ.
12.
Yeah.
Add them.
2 more.
12-time All-Star. 5-time league MVP.
Mm-hmm.
4-time rebounding champion. And it's just overall considered by many to be one of the 50, maybe 25 greatest players of all time. I think I saw that for his career. I think I saw his averages were like 15 points and like 24 rebounds a game. For his career.
Yeah, I think those numbers were insane because
a dynasty was started because of this trade.
Yeah, they didn't have shot clock, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, they didn't have 3-point or shot clock back then. I don't think so. So yeah, these guys would sometimes just sit in the lane. Like they didn't even have 3-second violation back then.
Bill Russell for Ed McCooley and Cliff Hagan, man.
Yeah, start of a dynasty.
Like let's put it like this, right? It's 2020, and even I know who Bill Russell is. You know who Bill Russell is, right?
Yeah.
Did you know who Ed McCooley was?
No.
Did you know who Cliff Hagan was?
No.
Neither did I before this. So that right there should let you know that there's levels to this shit, right?
Yeah.
There's Bill Russell's, and then there's Ed McCooley's and Cliff Hagan.
Yeah, they won their only NBA championship in 1958. And when was that trade?
1956.
So they won with these guys probably.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying it softens the blow a little bit. But you can't deny this is Bill Russell, bruh. Bill Russell.
Yeah, 1 championship compared to 11. You gotta
But let's put it like this, man. When you think of the early stages of the NBA, what do people say? They say Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Look at these names we're saying, right? I know who Wilt Chamberlain is. You know who Wilt Chamberlain
Definitely.
is. I know who Bill Russell is. So do you. Ed McCooley, Cliff Hagan. It's almost like that thing. I mean, we know who Darko was, but it's kind of like that thing where you're like, yeah, they drafted Darko, but Detroit still won the championship in 04. But you're kind of like, yeah, but you could have had Carmelo instead of Darko.
Multiple championships.
Instead of Darko Milicic.
You might have had multiple champions.
Yeah, you could have had Chris Bosh. If you really wanted a power forward, you could have had Chris Bosh. You could have had...
Yeah, they even had Chris Kaman at center.
Or you could have had Dwayne Wade.
You could have had Chris Kaman after Dwayne Wade.
You could have almost had anybody but Darko.
Yeah.
You could have had Leandro Barbosa. And that would have been better than...
Kurt Heinrich, and then even TJ Ford.
Instead of Darko. But that's just a little comparison right there. That pretty much to me is the worst trade in Hawks history. It doesn't sound as funny as all the other ones.
Yeah.
But I mean, 11 rings, bro, and you traded him. You traded an arguably top 50 player of all time for these dudes that we don't know who they are.
We don't even know.
We ain't know who they are.
But they won a championship, I think.
So that's pretty much my top 5 worst Atlanta Hawks trades. In all honesty, this was actually really like 9 trades. But some of these were so bad that I had to couple them together just so you know that the Atlanta Hawks, they double dipped, they triple dipped. They're like, we made a mistake. You know what we're going to do now? We're going to make another mistake. And you know what we're going to do with that mistake? We're going to make another mistake. Horrible, man. Atlanta Hawks, there's brighter times now, I guess. Trae Young, John Collins. Yeah. I'm praying you guys make the playoffs because you guys have some talent. I like the young team you guys have right now. But man, you guys made some bad trades in your history. Imagine if we combine these 2 trades right here. Atlanta Hawks trade Bill Russell, Dominique Wilkins, and a first-round pick for Danny Manning, Ed McCooley, and Cliff Hagan.
And then the guy leaves the next year.
Combine those 2 trades.
Yeah, man. Dominique is one of those top 50 players.
Traded out of the 03 draft.
So you have Dominique and you have Bill Russell.
Yeah.
2 of the top 50 players of all time. And you traded them at the worst time.
Atlanta, you could have had Luka Doncic.
Oh man, if we combine that.
Atlanta, you could have had Luka Doncic. You could have just stayed in the 03 draft, sucked, and potentially had a LeBron or a Carmelo. You could have had Bill Russell. You could have just kept Dominique Wilkins.
Wow.
But instead you did this all to yourself. Atlanta Hawks fans, we're with you. We're with you. Brighter times ahead. 5230 Podcast. See you next time.
Peace.